Over 3 years ago now, I started my journey full-time into cryptocurrency. That's putting in over 60 hours every single week into learning about this industry. I wanted to share a little bit about my perspective on crypto as someone that maybe isn't successful yet. I don't have $100 million, right? But as someone that has made a full-time income and prospered during this time in crypto. I'm going to be giving you kind of my blueprint on the different levels. Of course, this is all just my opinion. Take it as you will. Most of you are going to lose money if you decide to do your own thing and don't get someone to listen to. And so let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'm just going to cut in very quickly here. And for the people that don't have anything right now, you're just starting with $0. You either do the play to airdrop, like I'm going to talk about just a bit later, or you just get a job. Unfortunately, when it comes to crypto, you need capital. It's very much a capital intensive game. So you're going to want to start with at least $1,000. I want to give you a bit of a backstory. I'm going to talk about my introduction to cryptocurrency because some of you know it, but a lot of you, I think, don't really understand. So I got into crypto back in 2020. This was very late 2020. It was the pandemic. Everybody was getting into Wall Street bets, into options contracts, you know, the whole gamma, deltas, Greeks, all that complicated stuff. And I was someone that was very much interested in it because I had a lot of trouble holding down jobs. I had this level up system where every time I quit, I would make more money. But the thing was, I could never hold it for more than 3 months. And so clearly as a person, I was tired of the current system that exists in, the work environment, and I wanted something different. So I tried the whole, stock market crypto thing. Had somebody there that was mentoring me at the time. And he was like, hey, go download this app and get the coins. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go get the coins. And that coin did pretty decent. But, that was kind of it. So I loved crypto for a while. Then we had that March crash in 2021. My brother was getting huge into cryptocurrency. And pretty much one day, he got intoxicated and lost everything. So, dark time for him. I saw it as, let's see what we can do with it. So his birthday comes along. I buy him 3 Axies from Axie Infinity. My due diligence process is essentially, we've got Mark Cuban. There is no exposure in crypto gaming except when Crypto Kitties came out back in 2017, ICO boom. I'm guessing that now that we have a new all-time high in crypto, we're going to have some kind of crypto gaming boom. And so Axie Infinity was that boom at the time. There was a documentary from YGG, I believe, over at the Philippines talking about how people were making a full-time income. And that's how you kind of get the funnel started to getting, mass adoption in a crypto gaming coin, at least during that time. So we get into the project, it's his birthday present. That's great and all. It doubles in a week. I tell him, what if I did a little bit of something and tried breeding, and then, we could see what happens from there. And I'll pretty much give you half of the profits. He's like, okay, let's do it, because he doesn't know how to trade, right? So we end up turning that into 5 figures, and my infamous Why I Sold My Axies video comes out. We sell, I believe it was a week after the all-time highs in Axie prices. So this wasn't the all-time high in the Axie Infinity token or the all-time high of SLP. This was literally the all-time high of when Axies hit $800 to $1,000 as a floor price, which was absolutely absurd at the time, but, was kind of what it was. We didn't sell earlier because I was breeding, so I had some eggs that needed to hatch. And so I made my money there, and I think this is the first lesson that I have to give you. You have to go ahead and find trends that are up and coming. Axie Infinity wasn't something that, it hadn't run at all, and I bought it at the ground floor, and then it ran all of a sudden, and I made a ton of money. It was very much a trend that was developing. In June, Axie Infinity already had, it was thousands of percents of growth. This wasn't something that was brand new. It was something that had already been developed. The Rodent wallet didn't just magically come out of nowhere. It had already been up. I mean, that was up. It was live. People were using it. It was on Binance. It's not like it wasn't unknown. So you need to find a trend that is already up and coming. I would say the equivalent today, it's not gaming at the moment. Gaming is more of a sleeper pick. I would say that if you're in the crypto gaming niche, if you're, you watch my videos, you're into crypto gaming, I would say that right now you're either doing play to airdrop if you don't have a big portfolio, or you're doing pretty much nothing. You shouldn't buy spot if you don't have a decent amount of capital, because gaming has an enormous risk right now. It isn't the trendiest thing in the world, and it is high risk. But I will very quickly kind of show you here some of the stuff that I'm looking at in terms of risk tolerance. I will say that AI and memes right now is what everybody's buying. I want you to learn very quickly that a lot of these meme coins are not really fair launches. They are accumulated by insiders, and these insiders end up pumping it. There is this very infamous post, and this was a post that exposed the Brett coin over at Base, and pretty much said, oh, these guys accumulated a ton of it very, very early on. And, they promoted it, and then all of a sudden, hit these market caps, and it is what it is. But guess what? It dumped. People thought it was a scam, and then all of a sudden it went back to all-time highs. So just because something has insiders on it, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on where you're at in this trade, it is a good thing for you. So I would be looking at these meme coins that seem to have a lot of pressure, right? Some of that insider pressure. I think with runes, we have the narrative over here of dog go to the moon. I think that one's going to be absolutely excellent. There is the super election cycle currently coming up with Trump coin and many of these other coins. But I'm not someone that really trades meme coins because I have a larger portfolio. But if I was getting into crypto today, I would absolutely be looking into memes. Here's a little bit of a tip though, before we get too deep into this rabbit hole. You don't want to just trade memes. You want to make sure that you have an advantage, because if you don't have an advantage, then there's no point in just trading these coins. I don't want you to just go and, look at these things and be like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up Shiba Inu and Dogecoin because these are the biggest coins and they have, battle tested portfolios. It's definitely going to do well. And while you're not wrong, what I will tell you is that when it comes to something like Dogecoin, this is something that has already been out for a long time. The likelihood of it going up an astronomical percent, I don't know, $1.60, that would be a 10x representation. That's $200 billion. It's probably not going to do that. So what you go ahead and do is very simple. You go to a bunch of these communities, you build a report over time, and you invest into infrastructure for yourself. This is, whether or not it's a sniper bot or it's a MEV bot, you need to have some sort of advantage. It's proton, photon, doesn't matter what it is. You need to understand your unique advantage. And so if you do not have a unique advantage in meme coins, then get into something else. Maybe you're a more technical person. Get into AI. AI is a huge narrative right now. It's worth $38 billion. And I'm sure that some of these cryptocurrencies will likely be in the top 10 by the end of this cycle. So get into some of these. And for me, my unique advantage, and this is a video that we went ahead and created, we bought Prime at $3. And the reason we bought Prime at $3 is because Echelon Prime is a bit of a unique situation. Echelon Prime goes ahead and markets itself as a gaming studio, essentially. When you go on their Twitter, you immediately see that this is the Echelon Foundation. And foundations are critical for crypto gaming success because foundations are pretty much the people that power the whole token economy. And so when we see something like this, it's very clear to us that they're hyper-focused on this niche, but also on their token doing pretty damn well. And so the way I see it is, they have adoption from parallel securing a heck of a lot of money, right? Their valuation was low at the time. Now it's a little bit higher, $1.8 billion of FDV, much higher than it was before. I could see a $5 bill FDV, but that's not too much price action for you at this point. But they did announce the AI narrative, and the AI narrative came from their announcement of 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜. That was one of their other games. This cross-section, along with the fact that I already had a lot of experience in crypto gaming tokens and understanding the teams, et cetera, and the funding and the backers, how all that interlaps to get you, listings on Coinbase, et cetera, is absolutely critical. When you see a cryptocurrency project in gaming launching on something like Bybit, Gate.io, and MEXC, just know that they paid over $1 million in exchange fees, and they're probably not going to get as much money out of it as they think they are. It's very much a flip-flop moment or a gamba moment. It's 50-50. You don't know if it's going to pay off, but a lot of these guys are doing it because they pretty much have to. They're not big enough projects to kind of put it out there and say, hey, you need to be in our graces or else we're not listing and you're not getting our money. So Prime had that unique advantage where they had enough volume at the time to go ahead and get listed on these bigger exchanges. He's $10 million per day, all the way down over here, where at one point it wasn't even that much. So a lot of these launches, you're going to see this kind of chart play out. Another key thing I want to go ahead and show you if you have a lower portfolio amount is this right here. This is sideways action. This is actually incredible. If you have sideways action on a crypto gaming coin that has unlocks, by the way, because circulating supply, that increases pretty often. This is incredible. This is exactly what you want to see from a crypto gaming coin, because this means that the holders are very loyal. Prime and Parallel, they had their Genesis avatars, and those Genesis avatars were holding pretty well. They were holding pretty well. And so when we went ahead and saw this like very boring price action for a pretty long time into the closed beta, which is when they really started kickstarting the marketing, this is exactly what you want to see from a chart. You don't want to see a chart that immediately goes up to the moon, because if it immediately goes up to the moon, you're going to get what 𝐉𝐸𝐽𝐼𝐽 did. Listen, I love 𝐉𝐸𝐽𝐼𝐽. I'm a holder of 𝐉𝐸𝐽𝐼, and we're doing stuff with 𝐉𝐸𝐽𝐼. But at the end of the day, when the chart goes up too fast, it needs to cool off. It's exactly what you're looking for in a crypto gaming coin. You want to see this kind of sideways price action where it's doing absolutely nothing, but it's holding this base into a breakout eventually, right? If it just goes straight up, it's just gonna have to cool off, right? That's just kind of how it works. People have to take profit if it goes up way too fast. These investors that got in really early on, they need to take their profit. So you're going to see a lot of negative price action because a lot of these cryptocurrencies don't have their utility in place yet. They're still developing that utility very much. When the average crypto gaming coin is launching, they don't actually have any token sinks. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's okay to have a token out. But if you're doing hard marketing in the beginning, really extending your fuel to try to get as much price action as possible, so even when you go 90% down, you'll be all right. I don't think that's good. It is very negative sentiment, very expensive to do. And on top of that, at some point, you're going to need to introduce a token sink. And a lot of these guys have some pretty serious burn rate. So I would say that the tokens that launch the most boring are probably going to do the best. I mean, there's something like, I know 𝐿𝐼𝐸 came out recently, and it's probably like doing nothing right now, which is exactly what we're looking for in a crypto gaming coin. Any chart that looks like this for an extended period of time after launch is incredible value. Incredible value, because it means that the people that got tokens, they floored them already, or some of them held, and it's finally, holding its baseline price. But we'll have to see, of course, over the course of the next month, what happens here. And, if you're getting value in crypto gaming, then you'll be doing pretty well in a lower portfolio getting in after a month. Okay, so I've talked about lower portfolio amounts. Now you have more money. You've made a couple $1,000s. Now you're in like the 10K range. What would I do at the 10K range? Well, at the 10K range, I would very simply start looking at undervalued spot coins. There's also, the idea of getting into pre-sales, but I believe that pre-sales are something you should be looking to probably only when you have over 6 figures in crypto, because there's just way too much risk in pre-sales, way too much flip-flopping all over the place, and most of them will fail. So you need to have enough money to buy enough of these pre-sales to make your money back. It's very much a numbers game, and not really like I'm going to get into this one coin with $100,000 and I'm just going to magically, make sure that this is the success. There's plenty of gaming coins that will not be a success. So you need to be very picky when it comes to that kind of stuff. So right now you're at 10K, you're getting into spot coins. What spot coins do you get? Very simple. You need to have a base. So your base will be something like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Idera, whatever you are into in terms of layer 1 coins. You need a base. You need something safe. You need something that even if you lose everything here, you're going to be all right. So my niche is gaming. And so when I get into something like gaming, I need to find projects that are very trendy and have a decent market cap, so I'm not just going to lose everything tomorrow. 𝐵EAM very immediately is one of those. 𝐵EAM has a ton of partnerships. The space is predicated on partnerships right now. This is something that also Superverse has in their arsenal. It's not that they have the best utility in the world, but they do have some of the best partnerships, and whenever they do something, they give a lot of value to their partners because of their community. So this is why it's so important to get into some of these more community-driven coins, because they bring a lot of value to projects, and more projects want to work with them, which means more exposure and more price action for you. There's other ones like a very recent catalyst with Ronin. Ronin just announced their Coinbase Learning Rewards program. They're giving $55 to people. You can do this, by the way, yourself if you're trying to get free money on Coinbase right now. If you do some of these tasks, download the Ronin wallet, etc., you get $55 worth of the Ronin token. So a lot of exposure coming to Ronin. They have that partnership clearly, right, with Coinbase. So they've gotten it out there, and that's incredible price action for Ronin that is to come. They've been kind of just ranging for quite some time. They're a coin that, if you look at it from the market cap perspective, have pretty much hit all-time highs. And while sentiment isn't the greatest in the overall masses, that's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for negative sentiment in the masses and very hyper positive sentiment within the niche. So crypto gaming, it's very clear. People are very bullish on Ronin because they have a lot of users. They have a lot of people playing their game. It's hyper casual. It's not like these people are going to be playing FPS games. But when they do end up playing, it's going to be extremely high retention numbers. Very sticky players because they're here to earn money. They're in the play to earn niche and they have molded themselves around it. So that's a reason that Ronin is doing well, identifying the trends, identifying the user numbers. It's all going up. It's all looking good now. And they have, of course, the past track record of Axie Infinity, which still has an over $1 billion market cap. So that's kind of the stuff I'm looking at for spot. I would be looking into staking my Ronin, to take advantage of some of those airdrops that the validators have. And that would be kind of like my 10K play to try to get to 100K, waiting for these coins to kind of do their thing. It might take you an entire cycle to get to 100K, but that's kind of what you're playing on. If you get 1,000% returns in the stock market, I think any of us would do it, right? You put $100,000, that's $1 million by the end of a cycle. So I would say that's kind of where my head is at in terms of that. You get into the 100K range, I would do kind of the very similar thing. And then I would start getting into pre-sales. I would buy, the Neo Tokyo Citizens. I would start buying some of these NFTs that would give me access to launch pads or syndicates, etc. So I could start getting into some of these pre-sales. I would allocate a very small amount, 1 to 10% of my total portfolio, into getting into these pre-sales. This is a numbers game. This is not something that you want to throw a ton of money at. So I would say if you're getting into pre-sales, you have a ton of money, purposefully put a smaller amount of money, because I'm in over 40 of these rounds. I get a lot of them that don't hit, but some of them do, and they go up 30, 40, 50x and make up for the ones that don't end up hitting. And a lot of these you have to hold for 6, 12, 18 months. And for the guys that comment, they're like, oh, but you've instantly dumped your coins. I'm like, absolutely. If you get the opportunity to dump a pre-sale coin, when you get it, and usually it's like, 5 to 10% of it, take your profit there. If it, makes up the whole of your investment. And then over the course of the next year or so, you still have 90% of your coins that are still locked up. So you'll be perfectly fine if you want to hold this coin, accumulate it, but de-risk yourself, that you can put more money into spot, you can put more money into stable coins. And then once you get to $1 million, you just do the same thing, but with bigger numbers, right? But at that point, you'd have more money for more infrastructure projects. You'd be buying more NFTs. You'd be just getting more into the launchpad space deeper and deeper and deeper. And you should be able to, with the amount of capital that you're investing with, get more favorable rates for what you're doing. So I hope I helped. I hope this was educational for you. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see more of these videos, just info dumping what I think about not only crypto gaming, but just cryptocurrency in general versus just like news, this happened, blah, blah, blah. Until the next time, thank you for watching. Stay classy. And that's all.